Welcome to NASCAR Heat Mobile Cup Series Season 8, Race 4. The Toyota Owners 400 at Richmond will begin in a few short minutes, but first let's do a recap of the last race in Phoenix. So Lucas K started on pole, dominated the race, but lost it late to Stop Motion Brothers. It is time for the first ever race at Richmond in NASCAR Heat Mobile Cup Series history. Stop Motion Brothers starting on pole, 70 laps here in Richmond. Here we go. Race 4 of the season. Green flag is out. Here in Richmond, Virginia. First time Richmond has ever hosted a NASCAR Heat Mobile Cup Series race. I'm excited for this. 70 laps. This is the most laps in a race so far in NASCAR Heat Mobile Cup Series, but it is a short track, so the laps are going to go by pretty fast. As Stop Motion Brothers leads lap 1. All right. Race 4, Richmond Raceway. New addition, replacing Atlanta with a short track chess match under the lights. Bumper-to-bumper action where brake management is key. Obviously, this race is not under the lights, but you get the point. You know, it's a short track as NASCAR F1 fan trying to go for the lead on the outside. He's looking for his second win of the season after he won the Daytona 500. So yeah, 70 laps here today. This is going to be a long race, but the laps are going to fly by, obviously, with it being a short track. As NASCAR F1 fan takes the lead here on lap 4. See the field flying by. You know, this is kind of a slower racetrack. You know, Richmond. You know, we don't really have a lot of data to look back on. This is the first time we've ever raced here. So we just kind of have to, you know, go with the flow as NASCAR F1 fan doing a pretty good job leading this race right now. Remember NASCAR F1 fan last season, he was one of the most consistent drivers but just couldn't get a win. Finished second 4 times in Season 7. Finally got that second career win earlier this season at Daytona. And he's looking for win 2 here today, leading early. You know, this is a wonderful racetrack. It's my home racetrack, so really hope I'll be able to get the win here, but if not, that's okay. Just glad to be racing here for the first time. See everybody flying by. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how lap traffic affects things here in this race. Again, brand new racetrack. Not really sure how things are going to go here, as that was the fastest lap of the race, 20.2. So about 20-second laps here in Richmond. So this is going to be a longer race, but it'll be over before you know it. And it'll be interesting just to see more laps, more time for something to happen, as F1 fans really starting to gap the field right now. You know, SMB started on pole, led the first couple laps, but now he's starting to fade. Still in second position, though. Yeah, as we watch this race unfold, let's go ahead and talk about what's happened so far this season. This has been a really good season. So let's see. Race 1, NASCAR F1 fan wins the Daytona 500. That was probably one of the most feel-good wins we've had in a while. You know, I just said second place 4 times in Season 7. Barely missed out on the championship 4, but he finally got that second career win in the first race possible. So yeah, that was a really big win for him. Race 2 in Las Vegas, I was able to lead every single lap and get my 8th career win, first win of the season. You know, that was a big win for me after finishing second in Las Vegas last season, after I was second to my teammate Dark Pumps. Dark Pump started on pole that race. And then last week in Phoenix, Lucas K dominated the race but lost it to his teammate SMB Late, who went on to win the race. And they are currently tied at the top of the all-time wins list, with both having 14 career wins. So we'll have to see if one of them can get to victory lane today to break that tie. You see Tyreek Speed in the number 22 trying to make something happen on that outside line. He finished second in the Daytona 500 and NASCAR F1 fan. Tyreek Speed is the Season 3 champion. You know, for him, it was kind of expected to have better performances after winning that championship, but he did not win a single race last season. I think he finished top 5 twice at Watkins Glen and Bristol. But other than that, he was kind of a no-show. So this season, I feel like he's just trying to prove himself, prove all the doubters that he is still who he was all those seasons ago. As NASCAR F1 fans doing a good job getting around the tail end cars here. He has not gotten stuck behind anybody yet. Only lap 15 out of 70, though, so long race. Long race for something to happen. But we'll have to see how he manages, as he might get stuck behind the 44 here. But he has 3 cars in between him and the 9, so that's good news for him. As Tyreek Speed going for P3, I think he was able to take it. He'll probably have it when they come back around. Penske is usually better at these shorter racetracks, so I'm not surprised to see him up here in Richmond. They're always good at Phoenix. This track is similar to Phoenix in a few ways, just the way the turns are, and it's kind of a slower racetrack. So I'm sure they use some of their Phoenix data to help them with this race, setting up for this race and all that. We'll see if it pays off with a win here today. F1 fan, he is now stuck. We'll have to see if that 9 car can make anything happen, as the 9 car is now to the 66. As Tyreek Speed trying to get down in front of me, as he's clear, so up into P3 for the 22. See the tail end. That's a lot of traffic, so even if this 1 is able to clear some of these cars, he's going to have a lot of work to do. As that 44 was running the outside, and he was getting passed by the 1. But he's actually been able to gain a few spots here, which that's good for him. He's actually right on the back bumper of the 77 now, so that 44 might have a little bit of good long run speed. As you see that big pack stuck behind the 66. Lap 20 out of 70. So when F1 fan crosses the line, it'll be 50 laps to go here in Richmond. As the 9 is starting to gain, it's to the inside of the 78 now. There goes that pack around the 66. This has been an interesting race so far. We'll see if F1 fan can hang on to it. The 9 car is now stuck behind the 27. That's Lord Wub Wub. Finished 3rd in the Season 7, or not 3rd, sorry. Finished 15th in the Season 7 Daytona 500, which is impressive for that team. It might not be impressive for somebody like F1 fan or SMB, but very impressive for that team to finish 15th in the 500. As here goes the 22 to the outside of the 78. He's going to try to take P2 from the 9 and maybe go chase down the 1 car for this lead. This would be a really big win for Tyreek if he can pull this off. As here he goes to the outside, and Tyreek takes P2 here in Richmond. Now he just sets his sights on the 1 car, which they finished 1st and 2nd in the Daytona 500 this season. So Tyreek Speed does have some experience finishing in behind the 1 car, but it looks like he has a fast car here today. Which, I think he was going to get to P2 even without the 9 getting held up. He just looked really fast using that outside line. We'll see if he has anything for the 1, though. We know how good that 1 car is, but here he comes. The 22 is closing and closing fast. Last season, Penske only won 2 races, both with trombone players, because he won at Dover and Bristol. Once again, shorter racetrack. So just continuing to prove that they are better at smaller racetracks. And to the outside, Tyreek Speed will take the lead here in Richmond on lap 27 out of 70. To the lead for the 22 car. Now he's just got to, run as many good laps as he can. Try to get around as many cars as he can. As there he goes. We'll see if anybody else makes a move to the outside, maybe, because there's a long train stuck behind the 77 or the 27 now. Yeah, that 22 is on a roll now. He's got a lot of open racetrack in front of him once he clears that pack of 3 cars right there. We'll have to see if anybody has anything for him, though. Again, long race, so that 1 car could get himself unstuck and have a run back at this 22. That would be a very fun battle to watch, as the 22 is actually getting stuck a little bit. I'm sure he's going to move to the outside, though. I'm not at all worried about the 22 situation right now. I think he has the best car in traffic right now, to the outside. Yeah, that car is just so good in traffic. He's probably the favorite to win right now. Maybe the 1 car has something for him, but I don't know. We'll see. We will have to see. As we're coming up on halfway through this race. Halfway will be lap 35. We are on lap 32. So yeah, this race should end up being about the same length as the majority of the races. Yeah, these guys are running fast laps, especially that 22 car using that outside line. He's doing a good job. You know, if we go back and look at Tyreek Speed's NASCAR Heat Mobile Cup Series career, he signed on to drive the 22 full-time in Season 3, and that's when he won the title. He was able to win the championship. He won Phoenix. That was his first career win, Season 3, Race 2 in Phoenix. So once again, Penske proving that they're superior at shorter racetracks like Phoenix, flat, short racetracks. You know, I bet if we went to New Hampshire, they would probably win that race as well. You know, there's just those certain tracks like Phoenix, this race, you know, Bristol, maybe a little bit of Dover, that they've just historically been the best at. As 35 laps down, 35 to go here in Richmond. Yeah, they've historically been the best at smaller racetracks. And they're just putting those skills to use here today to get themselves their first win of Season 8. As that 22 car is really stretching it out. He's got about 6 seconds over the 1 car. So that 1 car is starting to fall back. He's going to need to get around these guys if he wants to make a run back at the 22. We'll see if he can do it. As the 22 does have a lot of traffic coming up here. So if one of these guys can make a move, they might have a shot if that 22 gets held up a bunch. We'll see if anybody can do it. That 78 is running the outside, but he's already been put a lap down a while ago. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm worried about the 22 in this pack, because he is just ripping that outside line, doing a great job right now. But yeah, he won his first career race, Season 3, Race 2 in Phoenix. I remember that was a good battle between him and his teammate, the 12, which at the time was NASCAR Fan 5. Yeah, they were having a good battle. You know, a lot of people suspected that there was team orders involved in that finish. Team orders for NASCAR Fan 5 to let Tyreek get his first career win. So that win was kind of controversial at the time. But it still got him in the playoffs because at the time it was win and you're in. We do not do that anymore. But it was win and you are in the playoffs at the time. So that Phoenix win locked him in. You know, he was kind of mediocre the rest of the season. He was up there a little bit. But, you know, he was barely able to make the Final Four. I'm pretty sure he was like the 3rd or 4th seed going into the championship. So barely made the Final Four. And then he just executed when it mattered. Won the finale in Kansas. because we used to have Kansas as the championship race. I don't think Kansas is on the schedule this season, so that track has been one of the most exciting racetracks we have seen in the series. So unfortunately, it did not get a date this season, but I'm sure it will be back next season, if we are able to have a next season, because you see my coins have been going down race by race. I think I only have 7 left after this, and each race takes 2 coins, so we have enough for the next couple events, so I'm not worried about that. At least we're able, just focus on this race right now, the current race, Richmond Raceway. That's what our focus is right now. We're focused on what we have to deal with right now, and what we have is Tyreek Speed dominating here in the late stages at Richmond. So yeah, he was able to win in Kansas, the finale, win the championship, and then he actually retired. He did not race season 4 through season 6. And then he came back last season. I think he only had 2 top 5s. I might be forgetting one, but I remember he was up in the top 5. I think he finished 5th in Watkins Glen and then 3rd in Bristol. And then this season, finished 2nd in the Daytona 500. I think he was inside the top 15 the last 2 weeks. And now leading the way here in Richmond, looking for his 3rd career win. And what a statement win this would be. Not just for him, but for that race team, Penske Racing, proving that they are the best at these shorter racetracks. I mean, they can win at bigger racetracks, but this is clearly their specialty. And they are putting that on full display here today. Taking the lead and just not looking back. And we still have a lot left to go in this race. I mean, I don't know if it's a lot, compared to other racetracks, but we still have more than 20 laps to go here in Richmond. But I don't think anything's going to stop that 22. I think he's got this win in the bag. The focus is going to be on who is going to grab those top 5 positions. You see F1 fan running 2nd, SMB 3rd. I'm 4th, so good run for me. Pumps 5th. It's lap 50 out of 70. So when he comes around, again, it'll be 20 to go. So I guess you could say this race is coming to a close. I wonder if Tyreek Speed can lap the entire field. He's on track to do that right now. There he is, 20 to go. He could become the first driver in history to lap the entire field in a NASCAR Heat Mobile Cup Series race. That would be very impressive for him. And again, just add to the statement of what this victory would be, as I think the 42 is trying to unlap himself right now. But he's going to get stopped pretty quick because that 22 has used this outside lane to his full advantage. I think a lot of these drivers weren't really comfortable using the outside line, and that has proved to be the factor that is going to, cost them this win. Now, I'm sure that's the reason a lot of guys don't use the outside line, is just, you don't want to risk too much. But the 22 is able to take that risk and is going to pay off here today in about 17 laps from now. Because, I'll just go ahead and tell you the lead he has. His lead over second place right now is about 17 seconds. And he is not that far from lapping the entire field, which would be very impressive. Very impressive indeed. Going back and looking at the results, it's going to be a little bit hard to tell. Because I don't know if the 16... I don't think the 16 was a lap down car. I think the 16 is actually for position. He has not gone a lap down yet, I don't think. I might be wrong, but he's gaining some spots. That's ZGW Spike, rookie driver in the number 16. He's actually kind of holding up the 22 as he tries to pass all these guys. So this might be a good run for ZGW Spike, because I believe he's on the lead lap still. If I'm wrong, then, just whatever. But I believe he is, actively taking these positions. I know the 78 and the 66 are a lap down. There's the 66 right there. He's a lap down. I think he is the last place car. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the 16 is actually sitting here gaining these spots. The 78 is also a lap down. I think the 78 and the 66 are the only two cars that are 2 laps down. Or, not 2 laps down. They're 1 lap down, but they are towards the rear. Actually, are they 2 laps down? I think they're 2 laps down. I might be wrong. Man, this is going to be interesting going back and looking at the results. I think they're 2 laps down, though. There's 10 laps to go here in Richmond. The number 22 looking for his 3rd career win. This is going to be a big win for him. There is going to be a big celebration in Richmond, Virginia tonight for that number 22 team. Especially if they can lap the entire field here. That would be a massive accomplishment. As here he comes. Lap 63. The 22 is 1 car away from lapping the whole field here in Richmond. He is going to make this possible. It is possible. He's going to make it reality here in probably just a lap or 2. Yeah, there he is. He is about to put the 1 car a lap down, and that will mean he will become the first driver in NASCAR Heat Mobile Cup Series history to lap the whole field. And he's still got 7 laps remaining here in Richmond until he secures this victory. Lap 65 out of 70. Here he goes. Around the outside, Tyreek Speed laps the 1 car, and that means he has lapped the full field of race cars here in Richmond, Virginia. And when he comes around, 5 to go here in Richmond. 5 laps remaining for the 22. Look at the 16 around the outside. He's trying to take a top 5 position. Impressive run for the 16. He might be able to take P2, which would be very impressive. Obviously not going to get this win because he is a lap down. There's the 22. Yeah, the 16 up into P3. Man, this is going to be a good run for the 16. Very impressive. I think that driver has a lot of promise. This Colleague Racing has won before with the 16 car. They won with Ethan Trendler at Kansas a couple seasons ago, back in Season 3. Tyreek Speed's championship season. And they actually made the Final Four that season, but did not win the championship. But they have a good rookie driver, and he looks like he's going to get his first career top 5 here today in Richmond if he can hang on for 3 more laps. 2 to go for the 22 as he's now putting the 66 3 laps down. Just a very impressive day, very impressive race for the 22. Nothing short of impressive. As here he comes. White flag, 1 to go here in Richmond. Tyreek Speed, he took the lead early from the 1 car, and he just hasn't looked back. The Season 3 champion's going to get his 3rd career win. He'll become the first driver to ever lap the entire field in a race. At a turn 4, Tyreek Speed in number 22. Tyreek Speed wins in Richmond. Checkered flag. Tyreek Speed does it. Impressive win. Very, very impressive for the 22. That was a great win for him. As we'll have to see. I think the 16 might have barely gotten second place. So ZGW Spike, very good run for him, second place. NASCAR F1 fan, P3 after leading the first half, or not the first half, but first couple laps of the race after taking it from SMB. Wow, very impressive win for Tyreek Speed. Congratulations to him, Penske Racing, or Team Penske. All those guys, great win for them. One more note, next week will be an off week. So Texas will be 2 weeks from now. So, drivers, enjoy the off week. And we'll see you guys in Texas 2 weeks from today. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.